Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. We got a very brief one, not a super long show for you guys this evening because it is getting late, but the news keeps on newsing right now. And I feel like by the time we go to sleep and wake up, there's going to be a new slew of other information and news to be talking about. And I will say this too. There is something to look forward to for tomorrow. And I'll explain that in just a little bit. But before we get into everything, do me a solid, all right? Like I said, we're going to get straight into the meat and potatoes here very, very soon. So hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. And if you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, it's Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick. Make sure you hit that follow button. Follow, please and thank you. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe right here on my main channel. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Go and subscribe over there, and Pascal Raw. Make sure you subscribe to all three channels. Hit that notification bell, set it to all, so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, it's random, okay? Or it's breaking news, so make sure you do that as well. Hit that join button down below, become a member if you want to support the channel, or if you want to support the channel even further, go check out my Patreon. Patreon.com/The Pascal Show. It's right there in the ticker down below. Check it out if you can, of course. Support if you can, or go check out pascalmerch.com, okay? pascalmerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. pascalmerch.com. Okay, there's a lot of things that have been going on today, all right? We already know that yesterday the U.S., America, swooped in, bombed Venezuela, then captured the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, and brought him to New York, where he is going to be facing some serious charges, some federal charges here very, very soon. In fact, tomorrow morning, he will be inside a courtroom for the very first time. He will be seeing a judge in the inside of a courtroom for the very first time tomorrow morning. We will be covering that, so make sure you're tuned in. Make sure you get that coffee in you or get that coffee with you, because that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow morning, watching all this transpire. I will most likely be on a little bit early so we can cover and talk about any nuanced things that have been happening as of late, okay? But I need you guys to know this. It is incredibly crucial that you are following my Facebook page. The reason why I say that is because there's a lot of information that's popping off that sometimes I just don't have time to hop in and give you guys the news on camera. Sometimes I'm giving it to you guys literally in format, in written format, in posts, letting you guys know what is going on, what's popping off, especially right now, okay? There's been talks of Greenland. There's been talks of other countries that Trump is interested in putting his whole hand in their cookie jars. Real talk, it's been insane, right? But nonetheless, this is a real thing that's going on. Now, Harley just asked, what time tomorrow? From my understanding, it'll be around 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So that would be 10 o'clock Central Standard Time as well, okay? But I will cross-reference that. I'll double-check that before the end of this show, because we do have a chunk of things to look at and talk about. Now, one of the main things is this, and I do want to share this with y'all, because I did post this on my Facebook page, but this is why I mean by this is very important that you guys follow my Facebook page. It's The Pascal Show. That's it. The Pascal Show on Facebook. All right. So make sure you are following over there. Hit that follow button over there, because like I said, I'm giving you guys so much information. It's crazy. Okay. Now, he did make this statement just earlier. Okay. He did make this statement saying that they need Greenland For what reason, I don't know why, but take a listen.
We need Greenland for national security, not for minerals. We have so many sites for minerals and oil and everything. We have more oil than any other country in the world. We need Greenland for national security. And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place.
So he's saying we need Greenland for national security. We need Greenland for national security. We need Greenland for national security. Not for the riches of the minerals and the natural resources it has. It's for national security. So in other words, basically it sounds like to me, he wants to build like a port. Like he wants to have an army base in that area so that, I mean, if you're talking about national security, then if anything goes down, you got an army base right there. So if you got any problems with Eurasia, yeah, I said Eurasia, but if you got any problems within Europe and Asia, you could literally retaliate. You could literally jump from that country, that island, to whoever. But here's the thing. It still doesn't work for me. That excuse doesn't work for me. It doesn't. We all know what the reason is. He's doing this with Venezuela, and that's seriously solely because of the resources that Venezuela has, and an abundance of resources, oil. Okay, we all know about that. But nonetheless, he is sitting there going, oh, no. We want Greenland. We have plenty of riches. We're fine with the minerals. We don't need any of that. What we need it for is for national security. Now, let me remind you, first off, Denmark is a member of NATO. Greenland also falls under NATO's collective security umbrella as well. So what is up with Trump doing this? Why would Trump want to do something like this? What's the purpose? What's the purpose for him doing or looking at Greenland like a ravenous dog? This is not good. Because you already have the Prime Minister of Denmark already speaking out and basically saying, oh, hell no. You got another thing coming trying to do something like this. And you can find this all on my Facebook page. Okay. Like I said, I'm giving you guys updates. Whenever I find out an update, I'm posting it as soon as possible. Sometimes I'm posting these things before I even go live. Okay. Sometimes while I'm live. Real talk. It's insane. But the news be newsing and they're coming out hard. She said in a statement, okay, Mette Frederiksen, hopefully I'm saying that correct, the Prime Minister of Denmark, directly addressed Trump and the repeated threats about taking Greenland. She did not hinge or hedge her words or soften the message. She made it clear that the idea of the U.S. taking over, in quotations, Greenland makes absolutely no sense, and that the U.S. has no right to annex part of another sovereign kingdom. So Frederiksen reminded Washington that Greenland is part of the Kingdom of Denmark, and that Denmark is a member of NATO, meaning Greenland already falls under NATO's collective security umbrella. She pointed out that the U.S. already has extensive access to Greenland through existing defense agreements, and that Denmark itself has invested heavily into Arctic security. In other words, there's no security vacuum, no legal justification, and no invitation. So she's saying, look the other way and kick rocks, baby. Don't let the door hit you where the Lord split you. Go. We got better things. Get the ship in. That's it. So she says this, quote, and I quote, she said this: I have to say this very directly to the U.S. It makes absolutely no sense to talk about the need for the U.S. to take over Greenland. The U.S. has no right to annex one of the three countries in the Kingdom of Denmark. The Kingdom of Denmark, and thus Greenland, is part of NATO and is therefore covered by the alliance security guarantee. We already have a defense agreement between the kingdom and the U.S., which makes the U.S. wide access, and gives the U.S. wide access to Greenland. And we, on the part of the kingdom, have invested significantly in security in the Arctic. I would therefore strongly urge the U.S. to stop the threats against a historically close ally and against another country and people who have very clearly said that they are not for sale. This came from this woman right here. Hopefully I'm saying her name right. Met Frederiksen. Now, she's saying, you are not welcome here. Kick rocks gets the stepping. But Trump is basically saying, we need Greenland. He doesn't care about the agreements. He doesn't care about certain policies and things that have already been laid out, I'm sure, for years now. Multiple of years between the U.S. and the Kingdom of Denmark. But no, he's saying we need it. What for? What for? I'd like to know. Like, he is literally, you know what? This is just, okay. I'm just going to say it. But this is my theory. I think he had 4 years to sit there, fester, stew, and think about what his next move was going to be. If he becomes president again, like when he ran in 2024, it's like, when I become president again, I have a plan. Phase 1 is this. Phase 2 is this. Phase 3, 4, 5, whatever it may be, however many phases, right? He's had 4 years to think about this, guys. He's had 4 years to think about who he was going to have on his team to exact what he wants to be exacted. You just saw what happened with Venezuela. Sure, there are people in Miami celebrating and shucking and jiving in the streets and going, Viva la Venezuela! Right? Cool. Like I said, dude is a tyrant. Should have been gone. He probably stole that election too. I guarantee you he stole all those elections. Not surprised if that's the case. But at the same time, very bad guy, Nicolas Maduro. Shame, 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 Nicolas Maduro. And what's coming for you is exactly what you deserve. But at the same time, now Trump, he feeling good. He feeling good. He out here feeling pretty damn good. Hold on, let me see if I can find this video. I don't know. There's just something about him saluting when he's walking up on Air Force One that just gives me this vibe like he just thinks he's King Dingaling right now. It's just a vibe. I could be completely wrong. Okay, I could be completely wrong, but it's just something about him walking up to his plane and he's saluting the soldiers that are on the, saluting him before he gets on the plane. And I just think it's funny. If I could find it, there it is. There's just something about this, and it's crappy footage, but just take a look. I just think it's funny. America, you know what I mean? He feeling good. It was a successful operation, right? Although I hear now 40 plus people were hurt. Yeah, 40 plus people were actually hurt in these strikes. They said no issues whatsoever, right? None. No one got hurt. That's not true. 40 plus people, that's what they're saying right now. 40 plus people got hurt. But let's continue. He's feeling good. Yes. All the world's a stage. And the people in it are merely players or something like that. Right? Isn't that Hamlet or is that Henry V? Whatever. But nonetheless, he's feeling good. He's definitely feeling himself. It was a successful operation. They got their guy. Now they have taken over a country. You got to remember this too. This is something interesting, don't you think? I mean, you see him do this. It was successful, whether you like to hear it or not. That operation was successful. The man is detained. The wife is detained as well. It's done. But now you don't think he's feeling like, man, if I got that, if I was able to get this, what other countries can I get? Think about that, though. You got to remember, this is a guy who loves, I mean, this is from back in the day. This is a guy who loves to buy property, loves buildings, loves to build buildings, loves to have that power over land, power over land, power over land, power over land. And then now he just successfully took down the president of Venezuela. Which, of course, let's not forget the copious amounts of oil that they have. So there's a whole bunch of riches over there. You don't think he's sitting there going, ooh, woo, that feels good. I'm still hungry for more. What else can I do, though? How about if I just go over here and take a look at this other stuff over here? What about Nigeria? Ooh, wait. I've been talking about, girl, I've been talking about Greenland. What about Greenland? You see what I'm saying? He's salivating. He's frothing at the mouth now because now he got a taste. And now he's going, what can I do now? What can I do? And that's exactly what's happening right now. But here's the thing. Let's not forget, just because they just took the president of Venezuela, who is, of course, a tyrant. He's a terrible human being. Yes, we already know that. But here's what's interesting. They didn't change the regime. They didn't change the government of Venezuela. The next person in line is the vice president, who is hardcore all about Maduro. So just as corrupt as Maduro. And there was a lot of concern about what's going to happen with Maduro after with the regime, with the government in Venezuela, when they actually took Maduro down. We already heard from Delcy Rodriguez, the interim president of Venezuela, before. And she basically said, we will not bend a knee. We will not bend over at all. We are not going to turn into America's business, right? We will not become slaves. Remember that, right? But then a little bit over an hour ago, something interesting happened. Something really interesting happened. Delcy went to her Facebook and she posted a new post. What could she be saying now? Is there a change of heart? Or is she going to stand 10 toes down on what's going on here? Right? Let's take a look, shall we? So this is from Delcy Rodriguez. She put it on her Facebook. We live in a world where leaders are putting statements on Facebooks. But here we go. A message from Venezuela to the world and to the United States. Venezuela reaffirms its commitment to peace and peaceful coexistence. Our country aspires to live without eternal threats in an environment of respect and international cooperation. We believe that global peace is built by first guaranteeing peace within each nation. We prioritize moving towards balanced and respectful international relations between the United States and Venezuela, and between Venezuela and other countries in the region, premised on sovereign equality and non-interference. These principles guide our diplomacy with the rest of the world. We invite the U.S. government to collaborate with us on an agenda of cooperation oriented towards shared development within the framework of international law to strengthen lasting community coexistence. President Donald Trump, our peoples and our region deserve peace and dialogue, not war. She's calling it war. This has always been President Nicolas Maduro's message. And it is the message of all of Venezuela right now. This is the Venezuela I believe in and have dedicated my life to. I dream of a Venezuela where all good Venezuelans can come together. Venezuela has the right to peace, development, sovereignty, and a future. And of course, she is the acting president so this was signed, Delcy Rodriguez. This is what she posted on her Facebook. Did she bend a knee? Or does she like the taste of power so much that now she's willing to be like, listen, I'm willing to cooperate to a certain extent? Think about it. She said, on second thought, oh, you know what? I just want peace. I just want peace. I want to get along. We are willing to cooperate with America. Let's make it happen. That's the way I'm seeing it. Let's cooperate. Because you know for a fact, I mean, she's fighting a losing battle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know for exactly evolved niche. Yeah. You know for a fact she bent both knees. She bent both doggone knees. It's a wrap, son. It's a wrap with her. Real freaking talk. So again, when you see this and what she said earlier, we will not be slaves, right? We will not be another colony of an empire. Now she's like, well, you know, we can be cool. We can work it out. Let's work it out, baby. We can work it out, can't we? What do you think, guys? Is she suddenly having a change of heart? Or do you think she's still singing the same tune as she was saying earlier today, I think? Let me know. Let the comments flow, okay? But nonetheless, there is a presser that Donald Trump had on Air Force One. I have two different choices here. So I might, depending on if this audio is like super trashy, because there is video to this, I might just do only the audio. But I want us to listen to this because I am kind of curious what you guys think about this whole thing, okay? Because this is very, very interesting nonetheless, all right? It's Trump on Air Force One, putting his thoughts on everything that's going on with Venezuela, Greenland, and many other things. And let's not forget, Marco Rubio has his eyes set on Cuba. He has definitely got his eyes fully set on Cuba. You realize I'm kind of like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, if you're going to do all this stuff, how about one thing at a time? How about one thing at a time? How about we just focus on Venezuela and we just focus on that transition and make sure that transition is smooth like butter, rather than just go, oh yeah, let's do Venezuela and do Nigeria and Cuba and Panama and Greenland. Let's just spread ourselves all over the place. I think this is going to get even more messier if they continue in this way. But I leave that up to you guys. Let's take a listen to this this press conference, shall we?
Yeah, a little bit different. We have some good people. We have Senator Lindsey Graham. Hello, everybody. Howard Lutnick, Commerce. We have Steve Miller. We have a lot of people. We have Aaron. We have a lot of people. Go ahead.
Have you spoken with any of the U.S. service members who were injured during that operation in Venezuela?
Yes, we have calls into them. They're all in good shape.
Can you detail what watching that was like when all this played out in Venezuela and what Maduro was doing that moment?
Well, I knew the possible danger. It was a very dangerous operation. It was amazing that we had a few injured, but all are in good shape right now. But I knew there was great danger. We got off the helicopter. The helicopters were being shot at. They got off the ground. Amazing talent and tremendous patriotism and bravery. The bravery was incredible. Let's say they got off the helicopter and the bullets were flying all over the place. As you know, one of the helicopters got hit pretty badly, but we got everything back. And nobody killed.
The next question is who's in charge of Venezuela right now. Have you spoken to the newly sworn-in president there, Rodriguez? And what are your thoughts on the entire situation? You said the U.S. would run Venezuela.
We're dealing with the people. We're dealing with the people that just got sworn in. And don't ask me who's in charge because I'll give you an answer and it'll be very controversial.
What does that mean?
We're in charge.
Have you spoken with her?
We're in charge.
Have you spoken with her?
No, I haven't, but other people.
Do you want to?
At the right time.
Did the U.S. give Delcy Rodriguez any guarantees in exchange for cooperating with your administration?
No, but she's cooperating.
Are you going to demand free and fair elections in the short term in Venezuela?
Well, it depends. You know, what you're talking. We have to do one thing in Venezuela, bring it back. It's a dead country right now. It's a country that, frankly, we would have been, if I had lost the election, we would have been a dead country. We would have been Venezuela on steroids. Venezuela right now is a dead country. We have to bring it back. And we're going to have big investments by the oil companies to bring back the infrastructure. And the oil companies are ready to go. They're going to go in. They're going to rebuild the infrastructure. You know, we built it to start off with many years ago. They took it away. You can't do that. You can't do that with me. They did it with other presidents.
How soon do you think an election can take place in Venezuela? How soon can an election take place?
Well, I think we're looking more at getting it fixed, getting it ready first, because it's a mess. The country is a mess. It's been horribly run. The oil is just flowing at a very low level, much lower than, even if it was badly run, it should have more income, more oil than we did there. So we're going to have the big oil companies go in, and they're going to fix the infrastructure, and they're going to invest money.
I want to make this abundantly clear, okay? You notice that he's sitting there going, oh, the country's in bad shape and all that, right? He's not talking about the people. He's not trying to make the people better and helping the people. He's talking about oil. That's literally the only thing that he's talking about. You realize that, right? He's not talking about the people. He said the country's in really bad shape. He's not talking about people there. He's talking about oil. Instantly, as soon as he's like, "Oh yeah, it's bad. It's in bad shape. The country's in bad shape." And if it was, if we went one more term with somebody else and it wasn't me that won, we would have been. The country would be this country would be in terrible shape, right? Didn't he just say that? And then he goes, "Yeah, oil. That's all he's talking about. The infrastructure. He's not talking about health concerns. He's not talking about people. He's not talking about safety infrastructure or structure of the economy or anything of that sort. He's talking about oil." Oh my God. Like I said, he's saying the quiet part out mother loving loud. Okay. So yeah, he's not concerned about the people. He's concerned about that good old fashioned liquid gold. Liquid gold. You know what I'm saying? That throwback. Anybody caught that throwback? I know that wasn't verbatim the right thing, but you know what I'm talking about.
We're not going to invest anything. We're going to just take care of the country. We're going to cherish the country. We're going to take care, more importantly, of the people, including Venezuelans that are living in our country that were forced to leave their country. And they're going to be taken very good care of. Yes,
Have you spoken with the oil companies about going into Venezuela?
I have.
Which ones?
Have you received any commitments?
All of them.
Any commitments from the oil companies?
They want to go in so badly.
you speak with them before the operation took place?
Yes.
Did you maybe tip them off about what was
Before and after. And they want to go in, and they're going to do a great job for the people of Venezuela. And they're going to represent us well. But you know, the infrastructure is rusty, rotten, most of it unusable. It's old, it's broken. You see pipes laying all over the ground. Nothing's been invested for years. Chevron's in, as you know, they've done a good job, but even they haven't been in a position to invest money because they're on a month-to-month basis.
What happens to
They're only there because I wanted them to be there.
Yeah, are there any contingencies in case the military in Venezuela is unhappy with the U.S. the way it's running Venezuela? Do you guys have plans for anything?
So Venezuela thus far has been very nice, but it helps to have a force like we have. You know, we were ready for a second wave. We were all set to go, but we don't think we're going to need it.
There's about 17.
That's interesting. They were going to go for another round. And then he said, you know what? We don't need it. We're good. They understood the assignment. That's interesting, right? I don't think that's entirely true, though. I don't think he's done yet. I really don't think he's done yet. I'm just going to be completely real. I don't think he's done yet. But because I don't think that this transition is going to be okay. There are protests. Let me just make this abundantly clear, guys. There are protests. They're just not showing this to you guys. There are protests going on in Venezuela. There are people that are mad that Maduro was taken. There are people, yes, rejoicing in the streets, but there are people out there angry as hell and protesting about him being taken as well. So you're going to have people that are not going to be okay with the fact that he was taken. And then, of course, you're going to have people rejoicing. Of course, there's going to be people rejoicing. Think about this. If, God forbid, anything happened like Trump was taken, right? He was captured by another country. Let's just say that happened. You realize that you're going to see both sides, right? Out in the streets. There's going to be people rejoicing, dancing in the streets, having a great old time, rejoicing that he's gone. And then there's other people that are literally going to be freaking out and protesting angry if that would ever happen, right? So it's the same thing that's going on in Venezuela. But they're saying that it's, everybody's just rejoicing and dancing in the streets because he's gone. That's not true, guys. That's not entirely true. So let's continue.
Billion worth of oil source in Venezuela. Is that going to be?
You mean trillion?
And is that going to be
Did you say
something?
billion or trillion?
I said billion.
You said 17 billion. It's much more than that.
Okay, so what is going to happen to those reserves?
We're going to run everything. We're going to run it.
There's a lot of oil.
We'll have elections at the right time. The main thing you have to face is a broken country. There's no money. There's inflation. Like we would have had, if I didn't win this election, we would have been Venezuela on steroids. Lindsay would know that. You might say something on that because we were talking before. We would have had a doubling up of very bad things that cost us a lot of money, like welfare, frankly. We wouldn't have had jobs. And instead of having $18 trillion in, we would have had at least $5 to $10 trillion leaving the country. So our costs would have gone up, and all of the money we're setting a record. It's long broken. And that's after 10 months. We haven't included the 11th month yet. So we think we're going to hit over $20 trillion. The all-time record is 3 by another country known as China. About 10 years ago, they did 3. We're going to do close to 20 trillion. By the way, there has never been anything like this ever before. And it's all because of tariffs and the election. But
Tariffs? Really? Okay. Oh, and the election too. Do you realize he just said 20 trillion? 20 trillion. That's what we're going to be, that America's about to be. Okay. He said China has only done 3 trillion. But no, come here. But America, we're about to do 20 trillion. What, off of the oil that you're about to take from Venezuela? Because it for damn show ain't those tariffs. I'm sorry, they're not. Remember, he said, well, I'm going to give everybody $1,700, $2,000, or whatever the hell it was, right? He's been saying all kinds of different numbers, right? First off, I don't need that check. Thank you so much, but I don't need it. Let's just get the country back to what it was. You see what I'm saying? 20 trillion. Remember that he said that. Remember, China, 3 trillion. America now, because of these tariffs and because of the election, $20 trillion. Okay, I'm done. I just want to make that abundantly clear.
Because of tariffs. Without tariffs, we wouldn't have 10 cents being invested.
There was a time back in 2016, RNC speech, and you were saying that regime change and nation building.
Where?
When you were speaking at the RNC back in 2016, you were criticizing regime change, nation building, the U.S. being involved in that. It seems obviously that your stance has changed on that. What led to that? And is the U.S. nation building now? Is that?
This isn't a country that's on the other side of the world. This isn't a country like we have to travel 24 hours in an airplane. This is Venezuela. It's in our area, the Don Road Doctrine.
So is that what you would say, that we're in the business of nation building?
No, we're in the business of having countries around us that are viable and successful, and where the oil is allowed to freely come out because that's good. It gets the prices down. That's good for our country. Now, we have a very sick neighbor. It's not a neighbor, but it's close to a neighbor, and that's Venezuela. It's very sick. Colombia is very sick too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States, and he's not going to be doing it very long.
What does that mean? He's not going to be doing it very long.
He's not doing it very long. He has cocaine mills and cocaine factories. He's not going to be doing it very long.
So there will be an operation by the U.S.
It sounds good to me. Yeah.
Sounds good to me. So, okay. He's like, you know what? We were successful with Venezuela. Come on now. Let's get Colombia. So Colombia is now on the chopping block too. He's like, why not? Why not? I'm doing the Lord's work. I am doing the Lord's work. Let's go. He's a cowboy now. It's like, sure. Why not? Let's get these evildoers. All of them. Why not?
Rubio mentioned.
You know why? Because they kill a lot of people. Yeah.
Secretary Rubio mentioned Cuba yesterday in his remarks. Does the U.S. have a plan to do some
Well,
similar action in
Cuba always survived because of Venezuela. Now they won't have that money coming in. They won't have the income coming in. You know, a lot of Cubans were killed yesterday. You know that. A lot of Cubans were killed.
Do you know how many?
The bodyguards. No, they're looking, but there was a lot of death on the other side. No death on our side.
You heard that, right? Remember, he said no casualties whatsoever. This was a perfect operation. Now he is saying that people lost their lives. Now he's saying that these are soldiers that lost their lives, but there were casualties. But he didn't say that before. He didn't say that at all. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean to go through this with the fine-tooth comb, but my dear God, this is coming out of his mouth, guys. Like I said, he's feeling good. Okay? He's feeling good about this. And I'm going to be real. If I was in his shoes, I would too. If I was like, go get him, and then they go and get him, and sure, there were casualties, but they were all bad. It makes me think of that. Makes me think of that scene in True Lies. Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, yes, I killed a lot of people, but they were all bad, right? So it's the same. It's the same thing. You know, there were casualties, but they were all bad people. They were all on the bad side, right? So again, here we go. Right? Sure, why not? Let's take Colombia. Sure, why not? He's manufacturing a lot of cocaine. Let's just get it. Go ahead. Let's take it down. Why not? right? But yeah, he's now saying, yes, there were casualties. But before, there weren't any casualties. Yeah. Maybe he just didn't know. You know, I'll just give him the benefit of the doubt. Even though he was watching via on his, you know what I mean? He was watching on TV. Remember, he said it was like watching a TV show? He watched the whole operation happen in real time on his TV. Sitting there, you know, eating his fish fillet and his Big Mac and his large fries and his large Diet Coke. While he was doing that, he was watching this operation go down in the middle of the night, sitting at the edge of his seat with Melania, probably sleeping with, you know, with her, what are those things, the eye mask on? You know for a fact she's sleeping with an eye mask. You know for a fact she that type. She that type with the eye mask. And it's probably satin and pink. You feel me? But anyway, let's move on. I've lost my mind.
But there was a lot of death on the other side, unfortunately. But a lot of Cubans were killed yesterday, trying to protect him.
Even though there's been protesters killed in Iran, you said we were locked and loaded, ready to go. What is the line there for when the U.S. is going to get involved in those protests?
We'll take a look. We're watching it very closely. If they start killing people like they have in the past, I think they're going to get hit very hard by the United
And I
States.
understand something. So when he first got elected in January, we met, you know, biggest comeback ever. We talked about
You
like
think so, really? I didn't feel it was a comeback, actually.
so
Because the first one was
the bottom line is we talked about a drug caliphate in our backyard. You know, we had Venezuela, we have Cuba, we have Colombia in our backyard. And these three countries have been condemned ever since I've been in politics. Joe Biden put a $25 billion bounty on Maduro's head. Chris Smith, the day he got inaugurated, said, I hope Trump will hold Maduro's feet to the fire. He did. So what has he done? He's going to clear our backyard of a drug caliphate, countries run by narco-terrorist dictators who murder, rape, sent drugs into our country to kill thousands of our citizens. To my Democratic friends, you should be celebrating this. When bin Laden went down, I was the first to applaud President Obama. This was one of the most sophisticated military operations in the history of the country. What they were able to do was amazing. They knew we were coming. We had a good part of the Navy, and they were able to capture this man alive. No military in the world could have done it. And as to this commander-in-chief, he did something people talked about doing. You just wait for Cuba. Cuba is a communist dictatorship that's killed priests and nuns. They preyed on their own people. Their days are numbered. We're going to wake up one day, I hope in 26, in our backyard, we're going to have allies in these countries doing business with America, not narco-terrorist dictators killing Americans. This is a big frigging day.
Okay, so let me just say this. Okay, them, like with Cuba. Now, with Cuba, if this is what they're saying is absolutely 110% true, yeah, take them down. I'll say it. Take them down, but take them down for specifically for that reason and that reason only. That's it. I think when it comes to Venezuela, there was definitely a hidden message. Definitely a hidden message, right? Or a hidden agenda. I'm sorry. They want the oil. But when it comes to like Cuba, but here's the thing. I'm also thinking that what if they're looking at Cuba and the likes of, say, some other countries where it has nothing to do with minerals or like riches of that land? Because Cuba, really, it's just about the regime. Really, they don't have anything there. Nothing of interest for America. Venezuela does, though. But what if they're doing this to say, yeah, we don't want you guys thinking that it was just about the oil. So now we're going to look at all these other countries to make it seem like we're We're doing the good job. We're going to be heroes and get in there. You see what I'm saying? They go after Venezuela, they do their thing, and everybody's going, oh, yeah, clearly this is about oil. But they're like, oh, no. Oh, no. Désolé, mon frère. But you're wrong. We're going after every bad guy. See, Cuba over there, they're bad. Colombia, they mixing up that yayo, and they're selling it to the peoples in America too. So no, we're looking at more than just that. We're going after them. It's not about their resources, right? But in the meantime, as they're going after Cuba or the likes of Colombia, because of their disturbing and criminal ways and, terroristic ways, they're going after Greenland. And while we are all reacting to Cuba and going, good on you, taking down a tyrant and destroying a regime, good job. While we're clapping to them over here, they're taking over Greenland against the wishes of the Prime Minister of Denmark. You see what I'm saying? So all of this is one red herring. It is literally a Kansas City shuffle. They're making us look one way while they go another place and do something else. This is the vibe I'm getting. I could be wrong, but it is the vibe I'm getting. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I am happy that this monster Maduro is taken down, but he did not take down all of the government within Venezuela. So there's still corruption in that government. Now, he says, we're running things. Okay, let's see you run it. But let's see you run it right. Let's make sure you're running it because you're trying to help the people of the country, not because you want to drill, baby, drill, because that's clearly what that is. That's clearly what everybody's reading. It's about that oil. Has nothing to do with the people of the country. Unless you're going to drill that oil and all your winnings and all the sales and profits that you make from that oil, you give back all that money, 110% back to the Venezuelan people, which is hilarious because that's not going to happen. Clearly that's not going to happen. So again, I think we are all watching this, right? We are all watching to see what happens. But when it comes to Cuba, yeah, Cuba's corrupt. If they really are doing those terrible things, take them down. But then I think about the Bay of Pigs. Y'all know about the Bay of Pigs? I get a little worried because, right now they're feeling good. They're like the cat that got the cream. They can't stop licking themselves, right? They're like, look at what we done did. Chest out, peacocking and everything, all the colorful feathers out as they're walking around. Look at what we did. We fire. You know what I mean? This is what they're doing. They're congratulating themselves. So they feel like they're impenetrable, that they're unstoppable. So they're like, what's next? But I hope that their eyes aren't as big as their stomachs. Because once you start going and getting overzealous, this can get very, very gnarly very quickly. And when we are spread that thin, think about it. We could be in real trouble. We could be very vulnerable when you spread that thin. But of course, I'm not some military expert or anything of that sort. But like I said, if you're putting cases on everybody, it could get very confusing and very, very confusing and very, very dangerous all at the same time. Let me continue.
And everybody in the world is thinking differently than they were just a few days ago because of what you did.
By the way, you mentioned something that's interesting. Lindsay mentioned Bin Laden. I wrote about Bin Laden 1 year before the attack on the World Trade Center. And I said, you got to go after Bin Laden. It was in my book. And very few people want to say that, but it was in my book. That I think we've actually talked about it. But
he's flirting a little bit. Oh, look at you, Donnie J. Look at you.
If they would have listened to me, they would have taken out Bin Laden, then you wouldn't have had the World Trade Center tragedy.
Yeah, this is certainly
Did you know that? I predicted Bin Laden.
I learned something every day.
No, but did you hear that?
Well, I did now. I just heard it right
now.
now.
I wrote a book. It was 1 1 year before the attack that the book came out, and it talked about, there's a whole page, a whole section dedicated to a guy named Bin Laden who's a bad guy who you have to take out.
So I'll get the book. But right after the election, he told me, I'm going to clean up our backyard. Now, this was before he took office. This was one of the president's priorities, is to make sure that people in our backyard, narco-terrorist states, will not continue to kill Americans without it. The number of people that will be alive today because Venezuela will be in different hands is going to be tens of thousands. This is something to be celebrated, whether you like him or not.
Not just Venezuela. It's what's coming out of Venezuela in the form of ocean-going and Gulf-going and sea-going boats. Every time we knock out a boat, and we've done a lot of them, we did 3 over the last few days. They're very rare now. You don't see too many of them. But drugs by sea are down 97%. Think of that. And now we're going to stop them by land too. The land is easy. We had to do the sea before we did the land because it just works out.
Yeah, you were just talking about the land, but it sounded like...
And by the way, you have to do something with Mexico. Mexico has to get their act together because they're pouring through Mexico, and we're going to have to do something. We'd love Mexico to do it. They're capable of doing it. But unfortunately, the cartels are very strong in Mexico.
One time, actually, speaking of Mexico, I asked you about Claudia Sheinbaum, and you told me at one point you had offered to send U.S. troops into Mexico to combat drug trafficking there. Is that something you
I like Claudia. I think she's a terrific person. I would say every single time I talk to her, I offer to send troops.
And she's just not willing?
She's concerned. She's a little afraid. The cartels are running Mexico. Whether you like it or not, it's not nice to say, but the cartels are running Mexico.
Yes, speaking of those U.S. troops, I mean, one thing that Americans and a lot of people are wondering, you just sounded like you weighed out another strike, or another land strike in Venezuela. You sound like you weighed that out. But,
no, we didn't need it. We were prepared to do a second strike if we needed it. We're totally prepared.
But that's
we're still prepared.
That's off the table now.
No, it's not. If they don't behave, we will do a second strike.
The question is that the American troops, are they going to be on the ground? They're doing any kind of peacekeeping? I think Americans are very...
It depends on what happens. It depends a little bit on the new administration, if you want to call it.
So if you see that pushback...
You see that, right? They literally are saying, he's literally saying, nope, there will not be a second approach. Like, we good, we're done with that. But no, I think that there may be, because he's like, it depends on if it's peaceful with this change of this turn of events, right? But I just don't think it's going to be peaceful, y'all. And here's the thing. What I mean by that is, I just think that the people aren't going to like retaliate against each other because of him, of Maduro being taken. But eventually America has to go back and claim what they captured, or claim what they're trying to get, which is the oil. It has nothing to do with anything else. It's about the oil. As soon as troops or people go out there, there will be retaliation. So it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be 2 weeks from now. But when they finally start coming back to Venezuela to be like, oh yeah, remember that oil that we came here for like 2 weeks ago? Yeah, we back to collect. You don't think that there's going to be a retaliation? I truly think there will be. But I will also say, Delcy just recently made a statement saying, we are willing to cooperate with police, willing to cooperate with the U.S. So what does that say? They might just stand aside and bend a knee, shoot both knees, as Trump and the army go in there and retrieve what they're really there for, which is the oil. But we'll see. The Venezuelan people might not be happy with the Americans being there, taking their loot. So we'll see what happens here. This is going to be, whenever they show up, whenever that happens, it's going to be interesting, right?
From Rodriguez, and ultimately ultimately,
Well, I don't think it was pushback. I think that
she called it.
well, you hear a different person than I hear.
Really? So you have spoken?
We talked to them.
Oh, you did speak.
They've been very good.
She called it kidnapping in Maduro.
So it's not a bad term. Go ahead.
Whoa.
Are you going to demand that Delcy Rodriguez let opposition figures return or free any political prisoners?
We haven't gotten to that yet. Right now, what we want to do is fix up the oil, fix up the country, bring the country back, and then have elections.
No. Is it fair?
We better bring the country back. Otherwise, you're gonna have a mess that's so bad. It was really bad. It's going to get a lot worse unless we go in and fix it.
Is the U.S. going to reopen its embassy in Caracas or get the
We're thinking about it. We've been asked to do it.
You
We've actually been asked to do it.
do you think the Putin and on the phone, of course, that Zelensky had in Morocco?
Yeah.
You told me that
Numerous times.
you told me that your New Year's resolution was peace on earth. Do you think that 2026, if you could set a deadline of when the Russia-Ukraine
I don't do deadlines, but I would say that, like as an example, Thailand and Cambodia. I was very proud of that. Wait a minute. And they started up again and they got it solved.
Where does that
I give myself 1/4 of a point for that. So now I'm 8 1/4 points because they started up Thailand and Cambodia and now it's okay.
So where does it actually stand between Russia
I
and
think we'll have a
Ukraine
deal
right now?
at some point. Hopefully not too distant. So I don't know if you saw the numbers just came out. 30,000 soldiers were killed this current month.
There was that in
30,000. 27,000 the month before.
You and Senator Graham discussed additional Russian sanctions.
We discuss it all the time. There's nothing else I talk to him. I don't consider him very exciting to talk to, except when we're talking about legislation. And we talk about legislation all the time. You think that's an exciting relationship? It's not. But we talk a lot about legislation, and we have great legislation coming. You want to tell?
So the tariff bill. So here's what I believe. I don't think we could have secured the border without the threat of tariffs. I don't think we'd have a European trade deal without the threat of tariffs. So if you want to end this conflict, then put pressure on Putin's customers. He sanctioned the 2 largest oil companies in Russia, which is the biggest pressure anybody's put on Putin since the war started. But we have 85 co-sponsors to give this president.
It's hurting Russia very good, the sanctions.
Oh, yeah. So this bill would allow.
And India also as well.
Yes, sir. So he put a 25% tariff on India for buying Russian oil. I was at the Indian ambassador's house about a month ago, and all he wanted to talk about is how they're buying less Russian oil. Would you tell the president to relieve the tariff? This stuff works. So I'm hoping we'll bring the bill up. It is from 0 to 500. He picks the number. Nobody else does. But if you're buying cheap Russian oil, keeping Putin's war machine going, we're trying to give the president the ability to make that a hard choice by tariffs. I really do believe that what he did with India is the chief reason India is now buying substantially less Russian oil. So I hope we pass this bill soon. And after
They
this,
wanted to make me happy, basically. He wanted to. Modi's a very good man.
Yes.
He's a good guy. He knew I was not happy. And it was important to make me happy. They do trade. And we could raise tariffs on them very quickly and it'd be
people are
very
afraid
bad
of
for
that.
them.
All that you said, you told me you were very thrilled.
And I'll tell you something, the Russian economy is lousy. But what's really lousy is the Venezuelan economy. The Venezuelan economy is, I think, the worst economy I've ever seen. If you look at inflation, things are doubling every day. It's a disaster. We got to fix the country fast.
President Trump, are there going to be any more? You said the oil companies are going to go in there. Are there any other companies that you've talked to about dealing with Venezuela? Maybe Mr. London could talk about that. Are there any other corporations, entities outside of oil?
Outside of the oil business.
Like
Well, the oil business, yes, but outside, yes. How would you
You have steel, you have minerals, right? All the critical minerals. They have a great mining history that's gone rusty. So steel, aluminum, but minerals, I mean, this is all, it's a rich, it was once upon a time one of the great economies and cultures of the world, and it was destroyed
And now President Trump is going to fix it and bring it back. So that's more than Venezuela. But it's not easy. It's really gone bad.
Any rare earth?
But it's got potential. What?
Maybe any rare earth minerals?
They have rare earth, but everybody has rare earth. Rare earth is not rare. What's rare is the processing. We're doing processing plants. That's right. There's no such thing as rare earth. The rare earth is everywhere. What isn't everywhere is the processing of rare earth, and we have a lot of places going on right now.
One thing that I specifically react to is the Minnesota fraud that we've seen play out.
Well, it just doesn't get worse. I've reacted. It's almost not even believable. This very stupid, low IQ governor, he's a very stupid man. I had a campaign against him with JD. And he's a stupid man. And he's a corrupt politician. And the Somalians are ripping off our country to the tune of, looks like $19 billion, but that's only what they can find. So usually when you're looking at 19, that would mean it could be 50. But the numbers are astronomical. Think of it. They have a dead country. They don't have government. They don't have anything. They don't have a military. All they do is run around shooting people and trying to capture ships. We don't let them take ships anymore. You know why? We use the same exact missile on them that we use on the drug carriers. And it's very effective. You notice there's nobody capturing ships anymore? Because as they head out to go capture the ship, and the ship doesn't want to fire back because it's very flammable stuff in many cases. And the insurance companies don't want, because they build $1 billion ship, and they don't want anybody firing rockets into the ship. But we're hitting them so hard, and it's very similar. Same missile system. It's called deadly accurate. And you notice that ships aren't being taken anymore. The pirates aren't.
No Somali pirates.
It's actually very easy. They head out. We say, guess what? There's pirates. That's the end of the pirates. The shipping business is coming back. See, these are little things that we're doing. And I'm doing it not just for American ships. I'm doing it worldwide. Because we don't want ships taken by Somalia pirates. But what they are doing is they're stealing money from the American taxpayer. And every one of them should be forced to leave this country, including Ilhan Omar, who's a total crook. And she's one of the leaders of it. Not the only, because she's not that smart. But think of it. $19 billion at least they've stolen from Minnesota and from the United States. It's actually more from the United States because Minnesota puts in, and we're not going to pay it anymore. We're going to have Waltz go pay. We're not going to pay them, and we're not going to pay California, and we're not going to pay Illinois with that big slob of a governor that they have that doesn't want. We brought down crime by 25%. He didn't do anything. He's not doing anything. But they want us to leave. He had a day where they had 17 murders, not too long ago. 17 murders and 77 people shot, but 17 died. And then he talks about, we can handle. He can't handle it. And we pull back, and we'll go in at the appropriate time. But we're the ones that brought the crime down. We brought it down 20%. They didn't bring it down. Pritzker didn't bring it down. Same thing with Gavin Newsom. If we didn't go in to Los Angeles 7 months ago when they had the riots, even the police commission, the head of the police, said if we didn't have the federal government go in, we would have lost total control of the city of Los Angeles, and they would have had to cancel the Olympics.
Speaking of Los Angeles, the National Guard, you pulled out the National Guard out of Portland
We did.
and Los Angeles.
You know what? You know that Portland, we got it down to almost no crime. You know that? But we pulled it out. We had a Supreme Court decision. We can go back. We're allowed to go back in. But we'll go back in when the crime starts. Look, the crime will soon start because they now know that we're out. And at the appropriate time, we'll go back in. And we may, if we're allowed to.
By the way, there weren't any riots in LA. There were demonstrations. Yes, there were protests, but there wasn't really any, you didn't see buildings go up in flames and stuff like that. So I mean, I just remember them I remember something like a car when one of those electric cars went up in flames, but that's really it. So demonstrations, but I wouldn't say riots, but I guess it depends on what you declare riots, right? Uh, nothing like the riots I've seen in the past. I will say that, but it was very, very tame in that regard. But yeah, there were people out there definitely lighting things on fire and stuff like that. But no buildings were on fire or anything crazy like that, at least from what we saw. But let's continue. Interesting.
The most powerful thing we haven't used the Insurrection Act.
You're considering using the
I would
insurrection.
I've always considered it, but we haven't needed it anywhere. 48% of the presidents of this country have used it. Bush used it.
He's just talking about the Insurrection Act now. Just so you know. He's thinking about using it now. Everywhere.
I think 22 times or something. You know, I mean, Bush the elder.
What are your short-term next 2 weeks? What do you need from Delcy Rodriguez? You've threatened
Total access. We need total access. We need access to the oil and to other things in their country that allow us to rebuild their country.
What are the things?
A lot of things. Roads that aren't built, bridges that are falling down. Yeah, bridges that are falling down, nobody can go anywhere.
And on Greenland,
What, Greenland now?
yeah, on Greenland.
How did we come up to Greenland?
So, do you expect to take an action against Greenland?
Well, I don't want to talk about Greenland. Let's talk about Venezuela, Russia, Ukraine, and we'll worry about Greenland in about 2 months. Let's talk about Greenland in 20 days.
On Venezuela, we talk so much about energy.
By the way, I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And
Okay, hold on. That's not good news when you hear the details about how he needs Greenland really bad. And then he says, we need Greenland. And then he says, because we got Russian and Chinese boats all over that area. We need Greenland, right? That's not good. Remember, ain't he really good friends and chilling, like chill as hell with the likes of Putin? And the last thing you want to do is ruffle the feathers of China. So him sitting there saying we need Greenland, the hell does he mean? Because now you're going to be ruffling the feathers of your friend, Putin, Russia, and then you're going to be making China not so great, not so happy if you're coming in to infiltrate as well. Oh, my damn. That could be World War III. That's not good.
Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you.
So they're going to swoop in like cowboys and take over Greenland and what, push out China and Russia at the same time? Ay, Chihuahua. That's a recipe for disaster, y'all. Like I said, I keep thinking he is just running up and like poking the sleeping bear. And he's getting very lucky because the bear's just like, and just moving a little bit, and they're like, and they run away. Lucky us, we were able to get the bowl of honey from him, the pot of honey from his paws once again. But one day he's gonna poke that bear, and that bear's gonna be mad, right?
You know what Denmark did recently to boost up security in Greenland? They added one more dog sled. It's true. They thought that was a great move.
What would the justification be for a claim to Greenland? What would the justification?
Oh, I don't want to talk about Greenland now. I just say this. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And the European Union needs us to have it. And they know that.
Okay, really quick. Here's the other thing too. Did he just call himself out? Did he just call himself out when he said, did he like give away the plan? Because he said, ask me in 20 days about Greenland. Is there a move to have something happen in 20 days to take over Greenland? You got to remember, if there is some sort of hostile takeover of Greenland while Russia and China are there, also at the same time, this is a member of the UN, Denmark, the Kingdom of Denmark. Greenland's part of that kingdom as well. This is not good. This will not be a good thing. I see allies quickly becoming enemies and becoming allies to other enemies of America. You see what I'm saying? This is interesting. Somebody just said, Caesar just said, we're going to purchase it like we did Alaska, Pascal. We'll see. Or he might take it by force. Right? Or he's going to take it by force. Just something to think about.
Are you that the operation in Venezuela will affect your relationship with Xi Jinping in China?
No, I don't think so. I have a very good relationship. We have the power of tariffs, and he has other powers on us.
Are you still planning to travel to see him in April?
Yeah, I'll be going in April.
I think there's some confusion from Americans and maybe the community world when it comes to what you said about Rodriguez earlier today in a phone interview. You said that she would face the same fate, if not worse, than Maduro. But it sounds like you're talking to her on the phone and wanting to work with her.
Not people.
And you are considering her power. Can you just clarify where you stand on Delcy Rodriguez?
I don't have to tell you. I just say that she will face a situation probably worse than Maduro. Because, Maduro gave up immediately.
So she could also...
He raised his hand, he gave up. And he did the right thing. But he gave up. So we were so effective, and it was so fast and violent. It was very violent. But we were so effective, he raised his hands and gave up.
What was the most violent moment?
I don't want to tell you.
Did you get a briefing?
There were some mad moments, but there were some very violent moments. I don't want to tell you.
Did you get a briefing?
Oh, he saw some things. Here's another thing, too. Because he just said, what the heck did he just say? Hold on.
And violent. It was very violent. And he did the right thing, but he gave up.
Oh, the fact that he said, hey, if Delcy Rodriguez, the interim president of Venezuela, isn't willing to bend at our will, it might be worse for her. The hell does that mean? So you hear, if you are president, the interim president of Venezuela, of course you're putting out a statement within an hour of him doing this presser and saying, no, we want to collaborate. We want to cooperate, guys. It's about peace, yo. It's about unity, right? Peace and love, man. That's literally what he put out, what she put out. At first, she's like, we will not bend a knee, right? And then he definitely said, if you don't bend your knees to us, here's the threat. Just so you know, your life is going to be really bad. And it could be worse. Your punishment could be worse than Maduro. That is a threat like I've never seen before in my entire life.
His hands he gave up.
What was the most violent moment?
I don't want to tell you.
Did you get a briefing?
There were some mad moments, but there were some very violent moments. I don't want to tell you.
Did you get a briefing at all on Maduro's first night in U.S. custody? And what can you tell us
I have
about
a total briefing on every aspect of it, but I don't think it's appropriate to talk to the press about it. You'll find it.
When it comes to him in court tomorrow, I mean, what's the end game here with Maduro?
There
Does he
is
just
no,
rot
we're
in
just
the
going to
U.S.
go
prison?
through a slog of a trial. The judge is very respected, Judge Hellerstein. He's a highly respected judge. We'll see how we do. The case is infallible. People are so happy with what we've done. You go down to Miami, you go down to a lot of places, and they're all dancing in the streets of this country. He was a rough man. Killed millions of people. He killed millions and millions of people.
After he stands
Can
trial,
I just say something? We got this is a good thing, not a bad thing. President Biden put a $25 million bounty on the guy's head. Why? Because he was a horrible criminal, murderer, poisoning our people. Every administration has been saying he's a threat to our country. He's a bad guy. This is the first guy that's actually done something about it. Here's the story for me. He could be in Turkey today, but he's in New York. So if you tell people in Cuba, you need to stop being a communist dictatorship threatening America. You should go somewhere else. You better take the offer. Maduro has nobody to blame but himself. He gave him a way out. He chose to defy Trump and the U.S. military, and his ass is in jail where he deserves to be, and every president has said the same thing, but he didn't.
I just want to say this really quick. Lindsey Graham is officially the new Marjorie Taylor Greene. There it is. I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know he is the new Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm just predicting that right now. He is the new Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's continue though. He's, you know, he is definitely a cheerleader. He's like, rah, rah, sis, boom, bah. Trump's our man. He's so great, right? Oh, his tongue is all over Trump's boots. Okay, just full tongue, like deep, just licking that boot, right? Shoot. He's like, man, woo, this rubber was from Taiwan. I can tell from the taste. That extra tang. Yes, it was made from Taiwan. That's literally what he's doing. He's Marjorie Taylor Greene.
You know, one of the things that is happening, I think you see it all the time. Howard, you've seen it. And Cuba is ready to fall. You know? Yes. Cuba looks like it's ready to fall.
I'm sorry. It just feels like he is. I'm sorry, Lindsey Graham. It's like he's the converted. You know what I mean? Everything Trump says, he's like, yes. Amen. I'm just waiting for him to, amen. Won't he do it? I love the Lord. I love him. Yeah, say it again, Pastor. Say it again. You know what I mean? I've been blessed. That's literally what we're getting from Lindsey Graham. Yes. He just feels like he is such a badass right now. He didn't do the call. He didn't do the call. Trump did. But he's like, yes. Let me get that other boot. You know what I mean? Anybody else seeing that? He is just like, I don't know what happened. He's just like, I feel like I'm 20 years old again, right? He's like, man, I may stoop my wife tonight. You know what I mean? I'm feeling this extra oomph tonight. Yeah, I don't need that blue pill tonight. This is all natural. I feel young. Let's go. Oh my God.
I don't know if they're going to hold out. But Cuba now has no income. They got all of their income from Venezuela, from the Venezuelan oil. They're not getting any of it. And Cuba literally is ready to fall. And you have a lot of great Cuban Americans that are going to be very happy about this.
Marco Rubio has really had your ear, it seems, throughout this entire process. I know that the Vice President Vance was just down the street when this all operation was playing out, but would you say that Marco Rubio has your ear more than the Vice President right now?
No, they both do. No. JD's very smart, doing a great job, and so is Mark. No, both.
It sounds like he's been the go-to, and you were just talking about Cuba and what could come next there. Are you considering U.S. action in Cuba?
I think it's just going to fall. I don't think we need any action. It looks like it's going down. It's going down for the count. You ever watch a fight?
Yeah.
They go down for the count. Then Cuba looks like it's going down. What do you think, Harold?
It's going down. They lived off of Venezuela, right? The economics were all Venezuelan, right? That's why you said the protective force of Maduro was Cuban, right? They were Cuban guards. So they were just paying Cuba when that money stopped.
They'll hire them in the future.
Yeah, they weren't very good.
People from our country who were forced to come over, they didn't want to. From Cuba. People from different countries like to stay in those countries, whatever, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And people want to go back to Cuba, and they want to work in Cuba, but Cuba's going down for the count. Thank you very much, everybody.
Is Elon Musk back in the fold? You had dinner with him last night at
Elon's great.
Did you guys chat?
I say about Elon, he's 80% super genius and 20% he makes mistakes. But he's a good guy. He's well-meaning person.
Can I ask you about one more thing that I've been wanting to ask you the last couple of days? You said that you were very...
You got a lot of questions.
I do.
I know. I'm about to say she does have a lot of questions. Why isn't any other reporter asking questions? Damn. She's the only one asking questions. And then, you know what I mean? She's got a follow-up with a follow-up and a follow-up. And there's all these other reporters in the room on the plane. Why is she the only one asking these questions? One woman asked one question so far. One other reporter asked one mother-loving question. Yeah, he like her big time. He like her big time. He's being very nice to her. But I don't know who that slick back hair dude is. I don't know who he is. Okay, he I don't know why, but he looks like he was the guy who had the he had the hookup, like the finest yayo in the club. Back in the day, that kind of guy. That's the vibe I get from him. But this is interesting. Okay, but yeah. Clearly she has aesthetics that I'm sure he appreciates. So of course he has no problem talking to her. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, he's throwing some flirtation and he's feeling good. He's like, yeah, I'm about to do another victory lap. You want to come with me, Missy, and ask me some questions while I do this victory lap? Yeah. Lindsey Graham in the background going, yes. Right? Crazy. This is crazy.
Tell him who you with. Go ahead.
I'm with News Nation. My name's Libby D. So you said that you were really very angry with the Ukrainian President Zelensky if he was the one who conducted that strike on Putin's residence.
I don't believe that strike happened.
Right. So Putin had said in that phone call to you that strike happened. You came out and said that, and you believed Putin. There was some criticism.
There is something that happened fairly nearby, but had nothing to do with this.
Why did you believe Putin in that moment? And then you say that about...
Because nobody knew at that moment. I mean, that was the first I heard about it.
So why not?
He said that his house was attacked. We don't believe that happened.
Word?
But that was the first we ever heard about it. We just hope that Russia and Ukraine get it settled. It's costing us nothing. In fact, we make money because unlike Biden gave $350 billion, gave it away. Now, I got a lot of it back because we did a rare earth deal going into rare earth. And we're going to get a lot of the money back, maybe all of the money, maybe more than all of the money. But we get paid now. Whenever we send anything, they pay. So this isn't an economic thing for us. This is a soul. This is a situation where on average 25,000 souls, 25,000 soldiers mostly, and some people from Kiev and different cities, but a very small number by comparison. The 25,000 to 30,000 soldiers are being killed every single month. And they're not from America, they're from Russia, and they're from Ukraine. And if I can get it stopped, I'd like to get it stopped. And I think we will. Thank you very much, everybody.
You've talked about returning some control to American companies. Did that play at all into your decision to capture Maduro?
No. What really played is the fact that he sent millions of people into our country from prisons and from mental institutions and drug dealers. And every drug addict in that country, in his country, was sent into our country. Think of that. Every single drug addict from Maduro's country, which isn't really his country and it's certainly not his country anymore. Every drug addict and every drug dealer has been sent into our country. Now we're getting it back, but it's a very laborious job to get it back. Very hard job. And of course, we're not getting a lot of good backup from certain judges, from certain radical left. But we're doing well on appeals because the people doing the appeals seems that the judges are much more sane. What these super radical left judges are doing to our country, it's incredible. But if you take a look, Maduro sent hundreds of thousands and even millions of people from jails, from prisons, from mental institutions, drug dealers, drug addicts, everybody. He sent anybody with a problem to it. It can never be forgiven. And other countries have done the same, but nothing like Maduro's done.
During your campaign, you talked about ending American foreign intervention. What changed your mind to Venezuela? What kind of grew your interest in it?
The fact that he sent drugs into our country. We're stopping it rapidly with what we're doing with the sea, because they come in, a lot of it comes in by sea, but it's not coming. The drugs coming in, as I said before, by sea are down 97%. You should be saying, thank you very much, President Trump. Great job. Now they can't get anybody to pilot those boats. You know, it's 97%. I'm trying to figure out who are the other 3%.
What's your response to supporters who voted for you, who may be glad and relieved to see Maduro in custody?
The voters that voted for me, let me just tell you, the voters that voted for me are thrilled. They said, this is what we voted for.
So let's just think about it. What is the right response when a country sends in tens of thousands of people to overwhelm your system? When a country is a narco-terrorist state that floods your country with cocaine, that's aligned with Hezbollah, what's the right response? You blow up the boat before they get here. You take down the source of the problem. President Trump didn't wake up one day and say, hey, let's take Venezuela. He did what other people talked about, but didn't have the balls or the guts to do it. This is a good thing. This is not interventionism. This is making America safer. We're going to be more prosperous because of the business deals. And there are going to be Americans alive today because he shut down a narco-terrorist state called Venezuela. This is a good thing, not a bad thing.
It's funny how he has to, that's never a good thing if he has to have like a cheerleader on the side try to explain in layman's terms to the peanut gallery how this is a good thing. You see what I'm saying? It's like your dad or your mom trying to explain to you and your other siblings why the separation, why daddy is sleeping on the couch, and that's okay. It's a good thing. Or the fact that daddy gone, right? He's gone for good because it's a good thing. You see what I'm saying? It's strange because for a fact, no one's really excited about that. No one's excited about that news. It's not great news, but it's crazy how they're trying to be like, it's good news. Don't you see? It's good news. Nothing's going to change. It's great news. That's literally what we're seeing here, right? The fact that he has to say that part out loud clearly shows to me that they know that there's been a lot of pushback and a lot of side-eyeing about what they did. If there wasn't any pushback, they wouldn't need to have the likes of Lindsey Graham put on the outfit, the cheerleading outfit, and say this whole thing out loud. You see what I'm saying? So, again, exactly, Bessie. You mean it wasn't normal that my parents lived in separate houses but were still married? Yeah, but it's a good thing that they're separated, that they're in other houses. It's a good thing. See what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense. And the fact that you have to say that out loud tells me that maybe a lot of people feel like it's not a good thing, right? And he's passionately gesticulating and emphasizing on how good of a thing this is, when I feel like a lot of people are thinking that it might not be that great. Not entirely. But they see it as a double whammy. They take down the bad guy and they get the gold. They get the goods. And it'll be better for the country anyway as well, right? They see all this. They see the double whammy. I see the double whammy. But it wasn't about them. It wasn't about the narco terror. It wasn't about that. It was about getting that oil. Come on. Quit with the BS. Oh, here's the other thing, too. I have to say this out loud. I have to say this because I know, and there's going to be some people out here thinking that this was the right thing to do. But I have to say this because Lindsey Graham said, we knew that these guys were narco terrorists. And the only way we could have done anything was to just completely annihilate those boats. I mean, I'm misquoting him not entirely perfectly, but you get what I'm saying. What we got to do is we got to double tap on those boats. by any means necessary. Take out the BS, right? But then if you really think about that, okay? But if you really think about it, couldn't they have just pulled over those boats and confiscated all the stuff that was on the boats and arrest and detain those monsters? Couldn't they have done that instead of just going bagoosh on these tiny boats? You see what I'm saying? They had options, but they chose to do violence. They woke up and chose violence, guys. They woke up and chose violence. Come on now. When they could have done the other choice. Yeah, sure, they might have required a little bit more energy, pulling over those boats, etc. But they didn't do that. They fly over and they drop bombs on them. That's interesting, don't you think? They had other options, but they didn't choose that. And they thought this is the most logical way. The reason why they thought it was the most logical way is because they wanted to strike fear into the people of Venezuela, or, into the leadership of Venezuela. That's literally what it was. They wanted to stretch and flex their muscles. That's it. Oh, you messing with America. We got the best technology. Are you out of your mind? You see what I'm saying? So it's just interesting. It's just interesting. It's almost done. This is almost done.
And the oil companies are going to go in and rebuild their system. They're going to spend millions of dollars, and they're going to take the oil out of the ground, and we're taking back what they stole. Remember, they stole our property. It was the greatest theft in the history of America. Nobody has ever stolen our property like they have. They took our oil away from us. They took the infrastructure away. And all that infrastructure is rotted and decayed. And the oil companies are going to go in and rebuild it. We're not going to spend very much money at all, if anything. But the oil companies are going to go, we're going to take our oil back. But we're going to also do things that, when you look at what he did, the drugs are terrible, but also terrible. He sent hundreds of thousands of people into our country that should not be here.
Hold on. You heard that, right? So none of this has anything, like I said earlier, none of this has to do with saving the country and doing right by the country, by the people in the country, by the Venezuelans. This all has to do with oil. He just said it again. They took our oil. We went back and we're taking what is ours. He just said that. We're going to sell it and we're going to take what is ours, which is the loot, the money. It's all about the money. See, here's the thing. But then he goes back and starts talking about, it's about the fentanyl and it's the drugs. But is it really that? No, it's not. But he's leaning on that as by the way, this is what we're really looking at. Okay. This is what it is right here. This is what we're really looking at. Just so you know, it's about the Fenty and the people coming into our country. And by the way, it's not like he said, people are fleeing the country because of how bad and desolate it is. People are fleeing the country that are all bad criminals and disturbing individuals. They're all degenerates coming into our country. Have you not noticed that? Have you not noticed that's what he's saying? He's not saying these people are trying to find refuge in America and we're trying to clean it up so that those people can come back, those refugees can come back and live in their home, in their own country and not live in squalor, right? He's not saying that. He's saying bad people are coming into our country. We're trying to bring them back to Venezuela. And we're here for the oil. Not we're trying to build and make this country supple with an abundance of blessings. And it has nothing to do with the oil. In fact, we'll use the oil to help build back this country. But that's not what that's not what he's talking about. You see what I'm saying? That's not at all what he's saying. So again,
That means from prisons. That means Tren de Aragua, the gang, Tren de Aragua, that comes out of Maduro's country. He was very friendly with that gang. Well, They're having a hard time right now. You know, we had Trent de Aragua all over Washington, D.C., and they got the hell beat out of them. Washington, D.C. is the safest city right now in the United States. Thank you very much.
President, if you had to sum up Operation
She really trying to get that last word, man.
would you say that it was about oil or it was about regime change?
It's about peace on earth.
How is it peace on earth?
Peace on earth. We gotta have peace. It's our hemisphere. The Monroe Doctrine was very important when it was done, and other presidents, a lot of them, they lost sight of it. I didn't. I didn't lose sight. But it really is. It's peace on earth. Thank you very much.
Interesting. The very interesting he just said, peace on earth. I don't know if y'all saw me. I was like, what? Huh? Peace on earth. Okay. So selective hearing. No, he just said police. He said peace on earth. I just thought that was interesting. Here's the thing. He said the Monroe Doctrine, a U.S. foreign policy. I'm reading this off screen here, guys. What is the Monroe Doctrine? A U.S. foreign policy from 1823 declared the Western Hemisphere off limits to new European colonization and warned against European interference in independent American nations in exchange for U.S. non-interference in Europe, aiming to secure the Americas as a U.S. sphere of influence and protect newly formed republics. Its core tenets are separate spheres for the Americas and Europe, non-colonization and non-intervention, a policy later expanded by additions like the Roosevelt Colliery, shaping U.S. strategy for centuries, including recent events in Venezuela. Interesting. Key principles. The Americas are close to future colonization by European powers. No interference, which would mean European powers should not interfere in the international or internal affairs of independent nations in the Americas. Separate spheres. The Americas and Europe have distinct political systems and spheres of influence. U.S. reciprocity. The U.S. would not interfere in European wars or internal politics. Interesting. That's what he said at the very end. Monroe Doctrine. Well, what say you guys on that presser that he had? I think that's very interesting, right? You had one main reporter asking all the doggone questions. I wonder why they didn't get aggressive, the other reporters, because I feel like the other reporters could have said a whole lot. They could have asked plenty of questions, right? But that didn't happen. But we did get a good amount of questions. And I'm telling you right now, in the next 20 days, within this month of January, he will be attacking Greenland. He might be doing Cuba and Greenland at the same damn time. You never know. You never know. But isn't it interesting that now, as this is happening, we haven't talked not one thing about any updates revolving around Jeffrey Epstein. Isn't that interesting? It's just something I noticed. It's something that we all noticed, right? Because now we're like, oh, damn. Is he about to like rip the Band-Aid off of this bullet wound and cause a world war? Is that what we're looking at right now? Because he's about to ruffle a lot of feathers. If he does something with Greenland, that's going to be a big problem. Now, Cuba, I see some people getting, I see a few leaders maybe kicking the dirt, angry, you know what I'm saying? But I don't see any huge retaliation from that. But I feel like with Venezuela, I just don't think he's very proud of himself. But I don't think that is going to be I just think his reaction right now is not great right now with other countries. because I think a lot of other countries are going to be like, oh, he thinks he's the he thinks he's the biz naive. He thinks he's King Dingaling. We're going to show him different. That's the one thing I'm worried about, y'all. I'm really worried about some sort of retaliation. Because it's only been it hasn't even been like 2 days yet or something. It will soon be 2 days, right? But I feel like, a lot of people are still reacting. That's my concern. Shoot, I just posted on Facebook that apparently Trump didn't like the fact that Maduro was out here like dancing and having a great time. He's out there just dancing in his Nike Tech. Real talk. Wearing Nike Tech. We don't wear Nike Techs no more, okay? It's quarter zips. And we don't drink coffee anymore. It's matcha. Don't we know this already, guys? Come on now. But he's rocking he's dancing around in his outfits, in his Nike Techs, having a grand old time, living the life like it's golden. And apparently Trump didn't like that too much. And he said, take him down. That's literally what happened. Maduro's just, doing the cha-cha-cha, having a grand old time. And that got under Trump's skin. And so now we have him detained. And he was saying, let's be real. Maduro was out here going, I'm right here. Come get me, man. And then they did. Ain't that crazy? I'm right here. I'm right here, bro. Yeah, we know exactly where you are. And then they got him. Ain't that crazy? Let me get these super chats here really quick. Thank you so much for the love, General Genobi. Thank you so much for the love. Service members are going to, go away or, be unalived, I guess, for elected officials, billion and billionaires to get richer. Yep. The rich will continue to get rich and the poor will still be exactly where they are. Poor, right? Joe Public seems okay with that. Those rich and people who voted for it will offer thoughts and prayers while counting money. Damn freaking bars, Genobi. Facts. This is the whole problem here. As much as we're looking at this situation and some are rejoicing, I'm sitting here saying, hey, listen, are you one of those 1%ers that's really going to benefit from this situation? Because us average Joes aren't going to get any benefits from what's going on in Venezuela. And if he gets Greenland or he does any of the other places, right? Cuba, Colombia, Panama, any of those other places, Nigeria, any of those places, doesn't change where we are. Shoot, health insurance has skyrocketed. Crazy rates now. And we all just have to figure out how to pay for it. We all have to work a little bit harder. We all have to do an extra side hustle or do something that we can so that we can make sure that we have proper health care. Now, Tammy, I hope prices will go down, but they ain't going down right now. Not anytime soon, not in the foreseeable future. It's sad because there's a lot of hardworking American people like you and me that are going to have to figure out until the prices go down how we're going to be able to afford our family's health insurance. It's jacked up. He's focused on what's going on overseas rather than hearing and focus on what's going on in America. I'm just saying, the rich are going to get rich and the poor is going to continue to stay poor. Just saying that out loud. PJ, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let me get this first, Messy. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the love. Breaking multiple people were hit apparently in Columbia, Missouri. I was looking at it while we were doing this. I'm looking into it and see if there's any more information about that. So thank you so much for the updates. I appreciate it. Yes, I did get the DMs. I was looking at them as well. Messy, again, thank you so much. Reminder, arraignment, tomorrow at SDNY. Yep. Enton will be there. but won't have phone in court. Oh, that's terrible. And then inner city press, I'm sure, will have the updates for sure. And also, let me pull this up. I also checked the time. He's going to be on, or he's going to be making his first court appearance tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So that would be 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for those of y'all who are actually curious about that. Okay. And wanting to see that. We will be watching that. I will be here. We will be watching that for sure. Guarantee you that for sure. So tune in. Yes, it is federal court. So there won't be any cameras or anything of that sort. It's kind of like what happened with Diddy. So there will most likely be the likes of inner city press, and hopefully he will be most definitely in that room. And we will get minute by minute, second by second transcripts of what's going on inside that courtroom, I guess, eventually, right? So we'll see what happens, right? But we'll be watching tomorrow for sure. So be sure to be back here at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be here live. Okay. Let's move on. Happy days. Thank you so much for the love. They need help with capitalizing on their resources, and we're not going to help them. And it's not just going to be all about helping them. We're going to get something in return for our investment. You're damn right. No more handouts. Yeah, there's not going to be any handouts. They're definitely there to benefit from that situation for sure. They saw an opportunity. He just said it himself. They're sitting on a lot of oil. And he also said they stole it from us. This was our infrastructure. This is what we built. And then they stole it from us. And then they did nothing with it. And so now you take down Maduro and see if Delcy Rodriguez is cooperative. And if she is, then you help rebuild that infrastructure, make it stronger than it's ever been before. Drill, baby, drill. And then capitalize on the loot. That's literally what's going to happen. So we'll see what happens. Elizabeth, thank you so much for being a member for over 19 months. I appreciate it. Damn. Thank you so much. Oh, okay. So only in-house, thank you, Messi. Only in-house press can have tech on court. Interesting. So now I got to figure out who's going to be in-house press for this particular hearing, right? So thank you so much for that. And Carl, thank you so much. If you enough crap, eventually you start believing your own filth. That's Trump. Oh, if you spin, or I guess spin, if you spin your own crap, or you spin enough crap, I'm sorry, eventually you start believing your own filth. That's Trump. I think that's what a lot of people feel right now. Okay. I mean, a lot of people have been feeling that about Trump for a good long time since the Epstein file situation, right? The whole cover up that we are still watching in real time right now. And some people are looking at this and saying, maybe this is an opportunity for us to be, distracted. Looking over here and going, oh my God, he just did this thing with Venezuela. But, at the same time, they're shredding more files and trying to redact as much information as they can in those Epstein files. But I'm sitting here saying, hold tight and do not forget about those Epstein files. It doesn't matter if he invades Greenland. I don't care, right? I do not care. Do not forget about the transparency that we need from those files, because I feel like all of this is one big fat ass distraction to try to get us to not think or look and try to get the truth out there and the justice for those victims. That's what I truly think as well. And now he's just throwing everything on the wall. Let's go crazy, And of course, he's very proud of himself. He feels like a badass. He absolutely feels like a badass. And I'm not surprised. I wouldn't blame him. I'd feel like a badass too. Like, hey, I just directed all these people to do this, that, and the third. Wow. And it was successful. We are the most powerful army in the world type thing, right? So I could see people, shoot, I'd feel the same way too. Like I said, I'd feel the same doggone way. But it is not entirely about protecting or helping the people of Venezuela. And that, I think we all know. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, we'll be talking more tomorrow. We got that thing tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we will be here live waiting for all the information and getting all the transcripts from Inner City Press. So I appreciate the heads up because Inner City Press will be in the room. Apparently, he will have his phone and he will be able to put in transcripts live. So I'm very excited about that. But Maduro makes his first appearance in court tomorrow. So we will be watching it. So do me a favor, please, guys. Okay? Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Send those likes all the way up on your way out. That'd be greatly appreciated. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. And if you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you hit that follow button. Subscribe here on my YouTube channel, right here on my main one. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips, and my third channel, Pascal Raw. Subscribe to those channels. Hit that notification bell on all platforms so you know whenever I go live. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, it's random and it's breaking news. So do that for me, please. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out that Patreon. It's in the ticker down below right here. And of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. Okay, guys. Anyway, it's time to get going. Have a great rest of your night, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.